I was in the movie theater and like someone all the way like in the corner of the movie theater like sneezed, and then someone like way behind me like in the other opposite corner said like bless you, which is just ludicrous to me. Let me tell you something. If you're in a movie theater and you sneeze and you come with somebody, the person that you come with, it's their responsibility to bless you, to give you the blessing. But if you go by yourself, you take it on the chin. First and foremost, I want to let you know that this is going to be a spoiler-free review off top. X is the latest release from A24, and the movie like grips you right away, man. Like the movie starts off with these sheriffs and they're like pulling up to a spot where like bad stuff has happened, and like I don't know what it is. Like you've seen this before in a million films, but this did not feel like that. Like this felt like an actual crime happened. It's something about the way that they just set the tone with this opening scene where it was just no music, no anything, like kind of going around. It's just like, death is there. Just immediately the ambience, it fucking gets you right away. No sheriffs like go into a basement where they see something that we don't see, and then it cuts away like, boom, we have a movie, baby. What did they see? Obviously we watch the movie and eventually you do see what they see, which is not what you think you're going to see. I would say you learn about what they see like somewhere in the middle of the film, but like it doesn't matter because still it's egregious to walk into. But we don't stay there. Like immediately then that fucking tone like it changes again and we get this baller, like the start of a baller soundtrack, because it is just a reoccurring theme throughout this movie. Like at some point fucking Sexy Eyes plays. It's one of my favorite songs of all time. Sexy eyes. But the cast, oh my god, I really dug everybody in this movie. They did something with the way that they wrote these characters where every single character feels important. Like you go into a horror movie and you kind of you scan the room and you go, all right, that's my final girl, that's who's gonna, no one else is, I don't care. That doesn't feel like the case with this movie. It feels like no one is outright expendable as soon as you see them because the characters are so well written, which is not what you tend to see in a lot of horror movies, because writers will go into a movie knowing that a character is going to die, so it's like they don't worry about giving them a big personality or giving them this whole backstory. Every character felt extremely fleshed out and like a real person. And it's cool to see like the porn element and how that plays into the movie, because while yes, that is a big part of the movie, it's almost like that's not what's happening in this film. And it gives us a really like interesting behind the scenes look at like what it must have been like for people who were shooting porn in the 70s. There's this weird like negative thing that people have had with porn for so long that, you know, fucking OnlyFans has broken the glass ceiling. Now everyone has a friend that they're helping film their porn, but placing it in a time when, you know, that wasn't the public opinion, it's really interesting to take a look at the people who were making porn in the 70s. What those real personalities were like, what those lifestyles were like, the ideas, and how they say them in this really like beautiful liberal way. That's another thing about this movie, is that there's so many times when I'm watching this where it's like a beautiful movie. And then just to get back to like the porn thing, like there's even a character in there who like, he doesn't just want to make porn. Like, yeah, he's shooting porn, but he's like, well, maybe I could be an artist about it, which is really cool because that's the parallel to what we're seeing now. And we all know those girls who are putting in that fucking work to make their OnlyFans really, really awesome. It's not just sitting on a washing machine fucking Hustler style, you know? It was cool to have a character that cared in that way. And this cast is so fun and it's so intriguing watching that lifestyle and how they interact with it, that you're having so much fun that you like forget that this is a horror movie in those scenes, which is quite the accomplishment, because when it is a horror movie, boy, is it a fucking horror movie. I can just feel people in the comments just like getting ready to write like, oh, it's very reminiscent of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which it is. Like there, you know, there's anything with a van and a group of people going to a house, it's gonna elicit that feeling. But this very much feels like its own thing for me. Like, you wanna know how like just fucking in it I wasn't even like writing notes while I was watching the movie. I was so immersed in this world that I was just like, well, fucking, this is, whew, what a night. But the horror elements are there, which is crazy, because for as good as the horror is, you wouldn't think that it's as beautiful as it is in some moments, or as fun and relaxing as it is in some moments, or funny as it is in some moments. It is the mark of a great film, touching on all of these different subgenres. When it's digging into that horror thing that X does really well in this movie, because there's something about the way that it builds tension, it started to give me like almost anxiety. Like fucking, every now and again, like in a movie theater, if I'm really fucking in it, like my heart will start racing and shit. And that was me with this movie the whole time. At some point, I'm sitting like a troll. Like are you ever so tense that like you're just like, dude, that was me. Shoulders at ears, baby. But again, as tense and scary as it is at sometimes, it's also beautiful. There's this weird like commentary that they're making about age and older people and like some of their desires and the things that they go through, paired with the way that people like look at them. And I love me a great movie where I can sympathize with the person who's doing egregious things. And I won't spoil it for you, but like the ones that the bad like murder stuff is coming from, it's not as if the whole time I'm just like, oh, they're bad. Nay, there's a layer of complexity to those characters as well that make me feel like, I feel for these people. Now, I can't not talk about the kills in this movie. Oh man, every single time, and I'm not saying that like fucking maybe there was like 3 times and then on that 4th time I didn't do it. Every single time I was shocked. The way that the kills are filmed in this, they are just so out of nowhere and so just fucking great and violent. Like there's some brutal imagery in this film, like truly like some grotesque gore going on in this thing. Watching this movie the whole time was like watching a man on a wire, where you're like, oh, you can't do, oh, but he's doing well, he's figuring it out. It's fucking fun when we're during the day and we're doing the porno stuff, which yeah, there's some porn in here. It's not disgusting though. In fact, I would say like the second time that we see porn happening, it's rather beautiful. And there's a third component that's going on while the porn is happening. So if porn is something that makes you a little bit uncomfortable, that's making you feel like maybe I want to stay away from this film, I think it's done really tastefully for a movie about a bunch of people filming a porno. And like I said before, when that's going down, it is going down. When you're having fun with this film, we're having fun. The characters are happy. And then when nightfall happens, murder is happening. And again, like those deaths, they're so out of nowhere. It's so, every single time that someone dies, because they made such likable characters, it doesn't feel like, oh, we just lost someone because this is a horror movie. It feels like, oh, that's misfortune. That is murder, which I can't say for every horror movie that I've ever watched. Sometimes I do watch it and it's blind killing and I never care. And I think that that's a testament to the cast and the crew that fucking made this thing. The entire idea behind X is an amazing premise, and it's so smart and executed so masterfully that I couldn't say that this film is anything less than a masterpiece. This movie is beautiful. I was gonna come in and do my regular like fucking spoiler full-on review thing, and I was like, I can't do it. It's too new. I want you guys to go out and if you haven't seen a movie yet this year, go out and watch X, because I'm telling you, it's the best one that we've gotten so far. This kicks Texas Chainsaw Massacre's ass. This kicks Scream's ass. This is art. And if you love film and you have an eye for really beautiful, really smart movies, I think X is for you. Now, that's going to be it for my thoughts on the movie X, but have you seen it? And if you did, let me know how that went down in the comments. Now, of course, if you've never clicked on the description of my video, that's where you're going to find a bunch of links to my Patreon, to my Discord, to all of my social media, so we can be friends. And if you want to take it even a step further and really help support my channel, please consider checking out my GoFundMe that I have right now. You guys have been helping with that, and that has been kicking ass because I've already been buying some stuff, and like, guys, the plans for the channel, it's gonna, dude, I'm so excited. But yes, check out the GoFundMe. All those links are down in the description of this video. Of course, if you have not liked this video yet, but you liked it, you should, you know, show me by liking the video. Make sure your notification bell is on so that way you always know when I drop new stuff. And as always, I will see you guys on the next video. Peace, video creeps.